I've been talking with some people online about doing something about the Tree of Life. I've looked at the Tree of Life. I've went through it many times. I see some similarities to what I'm seeing, but there's many things there that are confusing to me. One is like the chakra systems. It looks like the Tree of Life that we have, the Kabbalah Tree of Life. Looks like there's a lot of extra stuff in there. Somebody just keeps trying to pile more and more stuff in there, trying to make it work. And I'm not completely in agreement with the chakra system. People have found that they think that the chakra system is, different points throughout our body that we're affected. And I don't see that when I'm in the astral, when I'm looking in, how those chakra points could affect me at all. Most of the problems that I think the chakra system was more set up to be like a test. It's, if you think about it, like the crown chakra, if you took and you think about it, it's more like, does our brain work? Does the mind work? Yeah, the mind works. And then we have like the throat, can you speak? The heart, are you good? Are you a good person? Have you become yourself enough times to understand yourself? And this is all part of the brain, sexuality, the stomach, different things, all relating to tests that you may have to go through to say what kind of person you've become. You've become yourself many times. And what we don't realize is that we didn't just start out today. We're not just who we are today. We started out in the beginning of time here on this planet. And we've moved through, but have we become enough things over this time to become something good? Are we ready to become ourselves? And if you go through the Egyptians, they talk about the 9 gates. These are all talking about, different tests that we go through to try to find out if we're worthy to move to the next level. Did we become ourselves enough time to understand ourselves? Did we ever figure ourselves out? And I think that the chakra system is more of it's not really a point in your body, but more of a question of if you become yourself enough times. Have I understood myself? Have I become something inside myself? Do I see everything that's going on? The third eye. Can I see what's going on? Can I understand what's going on? And all these chakra systems are just more or less a test to see if we're ready. We're ready to move forward. Now, many people, they say, well, I get inside, I'm looking in, they're looking for things inside your chakra system. There's nothing inside your chakra systems, not that you would understand in that method. When I look into the veil, I see, first of all, I'll see a circle like this. And I'm going, well, what's that in front of me? And I start looking at it, and I get closer, and I start seeing what looks like things inside of, well, these are DNA strands inside of us. And each one of these is something that you've become. You've become something in there. And if I was to take this and look at it from the side, yourself is in this is the mind's mind, and yourself would be like this, so I can fall into here, and if I look, I can come into all these yourselves. These are all the different things that you've ever become. Now, they can draw all these. This is cloudy. This is many things in here. These are all the different things you've become. So this would all be clouded over. Now, the mind's mind can pull all these things into it, and it can look just like this. Now it's everything's inside of it. You're everything inside of yourself now. And you don't have, so this, when you come in here, and if I was standing in here, a lot of these minds, or a lot of these pieces that shouldn't be here, end up just getting flown, like I'm standing in a fog. And then all of a sudden I'll start seeing projected images of things. Now, this you could think of as an astral projection. If this was me, then there's other things in the veil too, a lot bigger than we are. And they'll come over the top of us like this. Now, they'll fog all this in, and when we're got our eyes closed, then it becomes all the things inside of them. So when we're standing in the astral projection, we're sitting in a city that we're going, wow, what's this? And I can fly. These are just projections. They're just billions and billions of brain cells, basically, neurons, things floating around in here that create these realities. And we just start dreaming, and we're in those. They're more lucid. We can have a more lucid experience. This would be a typical. This would be a typical projection, astral projection, occurring right here. Now, for an OBE, that's a little bit different. Now, with the OBE, now I'm not inside myself here. In actuality, in life, I'm actually here, inside myself. So I can actually go into here, and I can go down, and I can find, here I am laying in bed. So I'm laying in bed here, you know, sleeping. Well, this guy can come down. He's trying to become himself. He'll come down, and he can actually stand in my room, because he's inside of myself. So now he's reaching over and he's pulling me out of my body there, basically. Because I've become myself. Now, I need to explain that a little bit. Because it's not really... I mean, we have our soul inside of us, but then there's a second piece that becomes what I call yourself. And it's more of a plastic container. It's a container of who we are. And we can become ourselves. So this plastic container comes in. Now we can take everything that's inside of us and try to become ourselves. So we fill ourselves up with all the different cells of our body. Well, when we start to do that, the shadows, as I call them, will come down, and they want to pull this piece out. And what they'll do is they'll grab that and they'll come back up in here. Now, when you have an OBE, they try to move you into them, and now they become you. Now, when they become something inside of you, this diffuses real fast. You haven't become yourself enough times. So it diffuses real fast, and this part of you gets to play around in here for a little bit, and all of a sudden the experience goes, it's over. Because he's inside of you. He actually entered into that body. There's usually two of them acting at the same time. It'll be himself and herself. They work in groups to do this, because himself will lay down inside of you during the daytime, and he'll try to become something inside of you, and then at night herself will come along and she'll pull you out, And then a lot of men are having experience, oh, it's a succubus. No, it's just herself doing that. And what she's doing, she's basically saying, you're okay, stay here for a little bit, I'm going to take all this from you. I'm gonna make sure you can never become yourself here. And the reason that they can't, that nothing's allowed to become themselves is because the sun got pissed off at man and made it this way. So, and we'll cover this a little bit more. So now into the, so this is the mind's mind, astral projections, OBs, lucid dreaming, all occurs like this. I see it all the time. I'm in there all the time. I'm constantly, the mind's mind, I enter into here, and all of a sudden another world unfolds, and all of a sudden this becomes this big, and then pretty soon I'm floating into another one because we're ourselves inside ourselves, and then there's another one. And you can go into these, and then pretty soon you're down here. This means that now you got 3 things that you're inside of, and these different things can become something inside of you. They'll become nothing inside of themselves to become something inside of this one, and then nothing inside of this one to become something inside of you. And there's just a lot of different minds by it. And this is what the sun did. He brought things from other worlds that are 3 times bigger than this. They've been themselves many times. He did this to ensure that we never became ourselves here. And it wasn't really against us, it was against man. And I'll explain man here in a minute. Okay, so that's astral projection, OBs. So the tree of life. I'm working the tree of life out to be more of a ladder system. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is our ladder system. This is Earth, the solid Earth. And this here would be what I would refer to as the hollow. Now, this is occurring inside of here. But I'm stretching it out just to make sense of it so that you can see what I'm doing here. At this line right here, this underneath here, this would be the 2nd dimension. This is the 3rd, and this would be the 4th. So we got the 2nd dimension and the 4th dimension, we're in the 3rd dimension. Now we have this ladder we have to climb to get through here. When we were here, time didn't exist in the 2nd dimension. No time exists in the 2nd dimension. This follows along with our ideas and knowledge of the dimensions. So it would be a 1st dimension, and if you want to try to understand nothing, it's a new concept I've been coming up with, is something and nothing, and my idea of something would be a circle, and nothing would be a triangle. So we have nothing and we have something. Nothing can become itself inside itself 5 times. Become itself inside itself 5 times. And nothing always wants to become itself only. It doesn't want to become anything else but itself. And the something, when it becomes itself, it becomes something. And that something, that mind right there, is what keeps nothing from closing. So this nothing will always be held open by this something. If something isn't here, nothing will keep trying to become itself inside itself till it becomes nothing again, till there's nothing there. It wants to become nothing inside of itself. It wants to become itself only, so it'll keep following itself down and it'll keep becoming nothing inside of itself over and over again until it becomes nothing inside of itself. So that's nothing and something. So when we stepped up from the second dimension, we're very, 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 very small. Time hasn't even begun here. Time is just a very basic thought. And we're so small. Nothing's so small down here. Nothing had become everything inside of itself all the way up its 5 steps to get to here. Now basically it's allowed to become something. My camcorder seems to want to keep cutting out on me here. I just seen the light go out, so hopefully I caught it. We're talking about the ladder here. So as we're smaller, we keep trying to become, like I said, with the atom, if you think of your inside of the atom, there's even smaller and smaller particles or things happening inside of that, and they're becoming that. And they'll keep becoming that over and over again until they keep becoming something. And they'll do this many times, each time trying to become more and more till they can become something. I'm having some problems with my camcorder here, so hopefully we can get through this. Try to figure this out. So in the bottom we have become something, and as we stepped up, we kept becoming more and more things inside of ourselves, and we'll become something here to allow something to become something here. And what we're doing is basically becoming everything that we can to reform this world. We're bringing things that are here, they're coming through. By allowing it to become something, these things are coming through, and then they're forming up here in the hollow, and this is the first dimension. So she's building Earth inside of herself. We're bringing things across. They become something inside of them. These smallest items become something here. These will keep flowing through. Everything will keep coming through, and they'll keep becoming something here in this first dimension inside of Gaia, or that first ring in the hollow. And the hollow's got 5 rings. It's 5 things inside of itself. And this would be the first one. And as soon as you get big enough here, then you need to become something again. So you'll move up and you'll become something bigger here. So we're constantly stepping up the ladder by becoming more and more things. Now when I get here, I can become something bigger here. And now that thing can become something inside of me, and I can allow it to become something here now in the second. All this is about is making Earth from the father's mind to the mother's mind. When we're doing this, yourself has always become something in here, and we're allowing everything to become something again on this planet. So the angels, I call these angels, the angels are allowing everything to become something here again and again and again. But they only allow so many things. They only allow something to become something here so many times. And then they don't allow it because they're moving on. They're becoming something else. Whenever they got to move on, they no longer need to allow that thing to become something there. So a dog, cat, rabbit, dinosaur, whatever, they've allowed at one point or another oxygen, air, time. They've allowed all that to become something here. They are the construct. And the construct of what's happening inside of Gaia's mind. So as they keep moving up, now we could go through this whole thing, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 minds. 5 times she's inside of herself. Now these are actually inside of Earth. So if I was to show Earth in pink, and then she would be in here 5 times. And the minds are in here too. I just want you to know that they're inside the world here. They're inside of our Earth. It's just a different frequency, a different vibration. We're not seeing that. It's all around us. My mind's mind is right here. I'm inside of it right now. But we don't see it. When we're in conversation with somebody, and my mind's mind is here, and your mind's mind's there. Now, because of the sun's problem, and because of other things, but we can actually become ourselves inside ourselves. We can become, we could, if this other problem wasn't here, we could become something inside of ourselves, close our eyes, and we could see each other. We could actually communicate back and forth to one another. But because of the problem, it's not like that. So we have all these mind parts in here because yourself and the angels or the shadows and what they're doing, all of our mind parts are there. So our minds end up, some of our parts end up inside of this other person that I'm talking to. And we'll have, I can have astral projection or OB, or I can start having feelings or thoughts about somebody because they're actually leaving parts of themselves inside of me. And we can clear ourselves by saying, I need to become nothing inside myself to become myself only. Get that shit out of you. If you're having problems with people, you feel this pull like somebody's in your mind, somebody's fucking with you, and you can't calm down, you can't let it go, that's because they have pieces of their mind inside of you. You need to just say, I need to become nothing inside myself to become myself only. I am myself only. So we constantly were moving up the ladder, constantly moving up the ladder, and when we do get up the ladder, we become something. It takes all this to become something. Now, this is something that I can become. This something is here. This something is here. This something is here, here, and here. We can become something here. Now, we can become something here too. Not here, but something on earth here. So I became something here. So I'm not only connected to here, but I'm also connected to here. So if I close my eyes, I should be able to see these worlds that are inside a guy's mind. I should be able to interact with these worlds, interact with people on these worlds, but it's not happening because of what the shadows and what the sun, and why he got pissed off. The sun got mad because man had tricked him. Man entered into the hollow. The sun wanted man to understand themselves. Man doesn't get to become themselves all the time. Only the allowed are allowed to become something all the time, that they're becoming something throughout the whole, but man himself only becomes something one time, and then he'll die. And he was supposed, Gaia, inside of here, has places inside of her that she can form worlds. And so anything that can't become something again would end up inside of Gaia, inside of these worlds, real worlds forming inside of her, inside mind's minds. Not here and not here. These are meant for the children of God. These were meant for the children to become themselves. They were meant for only the angels. But life goes on. You know, this world, if you destroy this world can't become something. If she never ends up becoming something, this world will collapse and die if this world isn't here. The second that this world, she gets all the way up here to number 5, all of us get up here to number 5, then she's become enough things inside of herself to become self-sufficient. Now this world is real. It's no less real than this world here. But it had to become something. Now, all these things that keep coming through here are feeding this all the time. They're feeding this machine until it can become really something here. So it took all these frequencies to make this real. All these different vibrations, all these different frequencies of matter to form a real solid earth. This is inside of the veil. This is on the other side. When We're blocked. So this world's existing, but it exists inside of here. And there's doorways into it. Okay, so the sun was teaching man, wanted to teach man about himself, wanted him to understand himself. Well, man got to thinking, well, what happens if the sun told him too much? So man took his way of entering into the hollow, and man went into the hollow, and he went right up to the top. He came up here into 5. He can't become something here. But he came up to the 5th. Well, the sun got pissed off, and we are in the 3rd. He's making sure you never become something here. The sun blocked that. You will not become something here. The shadows make sure yourself never forms there. You have no real way of connecting with this or even seeing it here. Some people do, some people don't. But it's only when you become yourself. And before the shadows tear that part apart. So as long as you don't become something, there's nothing in the 4th. It's gone. It's completely black. It's completely gone. He completely made sure nothing could become something there. Now man's standing up here in the 5th, but they're becoming something on this earth. Now the 1st and 2nd are here. But you'd have to be able to understand how to become, I need to become myself, inside myself, inside myself, inside myself, inside myself, inside myself. To be able to come down here to see what's in the 1st. To actually get into a meditative zone and to see the mind's mind, and then to get inside of yourself to go there to see that. Then you can actually become something inside of yourself. You are here. We are here. You won't become nothing there because these keep pulling things in, all the smallest and smallest things to make you here. And the same thing here in the 2nd. You're on the 1st and the 2nd. The sun wasn't concerned about those. He was concerned about the 3rd, making sure we never became something here. So nothing showed up in the 4th. He was going to starve man out. Now, there are no minds in the 5th. Probably going to have to do this all together in chunks. My camcorder's acting up, and the light keeps going on me. And I don't know what. I think I caught it soon enough. But so the sun blocked the 4th and the 5th, or 4th and 5th frequency. But all this stuff's able to come through. Now man got sneaky and tricky, and what he did was they used parts of the sun's body, parts of his mind. Because of the trick, they forced him to become something inside of himself. So they were able to make a way that he could become something, that they could become something inside of him, and to keep becoming something here. But what they need to do is they're coming down here and they're stealing all of this stuff, all the stuff that's supposed to come in the 3rd. They're coming down here and taking that, and they've made a way to cross and to bring all that stuff up here. Now all these men, all they'd have to do is enter into him. Now when you're over here, you're basically immortal. You'll last forever. As long as this world's existing, you become immortal here. Until she becomes something here. Once she becomes something, this world is solid. It actually becomes as real as this world. So, and then it becomes self-sufficient. This world could die, and this world could continue. And it's inside of her. It no longer needs to be fed. It can feed itself. It can feed itself inside itself. So this world wouldn't be needed. But if this world died before this world was completed, nothing would happen. It'd be done. This would just collapse and everything would be gone. This world would be completely gone. So the reason why we're blocked, and what I see, and this follows, and the funny thing is what it follows is I see this. We see this Illuminati symbol, the triangle. If you notice, we have to become so many more things in the bottom. You'd have to become trillions and trillions of things here. And the further up you go, the less and less things you have to become. And by the time you get to the top, what you see is the eye there. It means I'm myself only. I became myself only. And so what I see with the Illuminati and the same with the Freemasons is they're saying, I'm becoming myself only inside myself. I'm becoming myself only inside myself. And this tells me either that they are planning on not doing this, and that they're somehow connected to these men, and these men are helping them through, because I have seen that the hollow is connected to this world. I went in there and I've seen a German soldier 80 years ago. It didn't look like he had just walked in there. Time doesn't move the same there. If their intentions are to walk through the hollow, go back up in and be brought into the fifth, and living off of us, they're feeding off of us. They're feeding through our minds, not off my body, but off of my mind's mind. The shadows are what's pulling yourself away, so that you never. Next life that I'm born, my soul will become something and something, but I'll become that person with my line, who I am. But I'll be in Bob, Ted, Bill, and I'll never be able to figure myself out. I'll be those other people and confused, because I'm a blonde hair, redhead, whatever. I'm not who I am. See, if the way this should be is I should become Powessy or Roger every time. So I realize who I am. I recognize myself. I understand myself. I can find myself. I should always be able to become that. An easy way to know if the shadows are pulling you out is if they become you. Yourself is when you're in an OBE or you're in an astral projection, you actually see yourself. If I see myself at any point, other than laying in my bed and I'm solid there, but as in an OBE, but if I'm in an astral projection, I'm running along, all of a sudden I see, hey, there's Roger, they became me. Now I'm inside of himself, they got me over there, and that piece is gone. They've taken that away. So now it'll take time for me to become myself again, and so my experiences become hit and miss. And I can't figure out, well, I got a shadow to come, I got an astral projection this week, but then next week I didn't get one. That's because you didn't become yourself again. When you keep becoming yourself, you'll keep having experiences. So if you want to know why you're having problems and why this is because the shadows see you becoming yourself, and they want you to become all of yourself inside yourself. So they'll enter into you and they'll push thoughts, and they'll cause you problems to become more of yourself. They want, that's basically their jump charge. Their charge. That's how they get to become themselves, because they become themselves inside of you. This gives them the ability to run around and keep doing what they're doing, and everything that's inside of them, because they carry basically what I call a soul knot inside of them, and that knot. So I don't have a whole lot more to say. Hopefully this will last for a couple more seconds. So if you guys have any questions, please ask, but this is the reason why we're not becoming ourselves. And when you become yourself, you become everything inside of yourself to become yourself there, and then we would move into the fourth. But until we get rid of these blockages happening here, nothing's going to happen. One more thing is that when the Son did this, he also brought a second world soul object in here, and he put her inside of here, inside of here, inside of here, inside of here, so we couldn't cross across. And by doing that, he put Gaia inside the mind of Gabri, which I call the second world. He put the mind of Gabri, or Gaia, inside of Gabri, the second world soul object, and this keeps us from crossing over and becoming something again. So it's not only a block here, it's a block in here too. Thank you.